Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different for me. I don't get a whole lot of chance to get out of the Harley realm of things too much. But a buddy of mine had an old BSA that he's restoring. He's done quite a few of them actually, and they're really quite nice pieces. So today we have this old head off this. I think it's a BSA, I believe. Something a little bit different, and he's already had someone put the guides in it, so they're already in place, which is great. Doesn't make much work for me. We're just going to cut them out and try to make those seats look better than what they are now. We're going to do a 3-angle valve job on them all, and that'll help this whole thing breathe better. It's like he said, it's not for high-speed racing, but he does want to be able to drive it around some. So we're going to go to work on it today and see where we can get. Today we're going to start out by getting our new way cutter set. For those of you that aren't familiar with them, they're like these. Each of these screws is an adjustment to move this stone piece out farther for different sizes. One side has a 31-degree angle on it. The other side has a 45 on it. So it'll do quite a wide variety of valve seats. We also have a larger one, and this is bigger for bigger valves and shovels and things like that. And we also have a small 60-degree one for doing right down in the bottom of the chamber there. So we're getting these set up so that we don't cut any more than we have to. And we're just going to put our pilot in there. And it's really a process of eyeballing it. Get yourself started. Those look good. I've got those set, and we'll check the 31s. Take a swipe around on them. That gives me an idea there. Now we can see just from the first cut, you can see the shiny spot off to this side where that's just starting to cut in. So everything's pretty well out around quite a bit on these. So we're going to go gingerly on them and see where we can get. Now we've got a nice even 30 shiny in there. So at least I know I have a nice wide area for the seat. And we have a little bit of room so that we can touch up the 60-degree down below. As you can see, it's cleaned that seat up all the way around because they were just a 45-degree angle. We're going to try to cut the 31 now on top of that, where it's cleaned it out, and get a little better seat. We've got a pretty wide seat happening there now, really wide, but I'm not sure at all where my valve is going to sit down in there. These are intake valves. No mistaken, they're British. I'm just going to take a little bit of our lapping compound. We have a fairly small seat on the valve itself. because I'm not familiar with them, I'm not sure where about that seat is going to sit. Should be able to see the lapped area there. You take the 30 down. So distinguishing on the valve. We want to see the mark on the valve so we can tell where it's at. It's not really wide, the valve seating area, like it is on some others. So I expect this will be fine. So I'm just going over the lathe for a minute. Stick my valve in there with Scotch-Brite just enough to take the shine off it, of the area from the lapping. So I got a fresh surface to look at. Doesn't take any material off it, just cleans it up. We got our valve cleaned up. Clean the area out there. See the gray mark with a little bit of clear on either side of it. That's a nice even seat around there. And we can see from down in here that we've got a nice seat around the bottom, and as soon as I wipe this out here, I'll let you have a look at that. So there's no sense in really screwing with that anymore. And so there you can probably see the 3-angle valve job, and you can see the highlighted area where our seat is. So we're just going to go along and do them as we go. Hopefully they'll all be pretty good. I don't think this head's been beat too badly. I've certainly seen things a lot worse than that. But we're going to number our valves and letter them so because we're not putting it together, so we can make sure that the right ones go in the right ones with the right seats. And then we'll move on. As you can see again with the 2 angles cut, one with the pilot there, you can see the black line in the middle, which is actually our 45. We've cut the 2 outside ones. And we've just started to skim the 45. Here you go, now we have our 45. The 60 at the bottom, and we're just going to cut a bit of the 31 into it, and then I'm going to lap it, see where my valve is seating at. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and I'm sure that there's lots of people out there that can you should do this or you shouldn't do that, or I'm not telling anybody how to do it. I'm just talking about my way of doing it and what has worked for me over the years. And yes, in a lot of cases I could have just popped them in there and likely the spring pressure would have been enough to seal them, but it's like when somebody says do it like you would for your own. I would go through this. I would do this. Each and every one. Because then when I put it together, I know where we're at exactly. Sometimes that peace of mind of just knowing is well worth it. can see it cut there now. There you can see we're just working part way around on it. Part of it's cut, part of it's not. So that's how far that one was out. So we'll just keep slowly picking away at it. The trick is don't get in a hurry. We got a problem now. The valves are going down, hitting on the guide by a lot. A lot. This back one's going to be the same way. So as we've gone along and got ready to do these, we've run into a problem with the intakes here. The exhaust, I mean, and the valves are going in and hitting the guide. It's a pretty hard thing to see. Let's see. Look down this port. I put a light here. You can see all that light around that port. That's how far the valve is sticking up, and it's hitting the valve guide, and it won't allow it to go down any farther. I can't push it down, and it appears they're both like that. So what we're going to have to do is try to figure out a way to machine the ends off that guide and shorten it up some into a safe distance. And we'll probably have to hone it out again at the end to make sure there's no burrs and such on the other end of it, but make sure it's really clean. But getting it set up there and getting a cutter in there, I'll have to take a little head scratching for a minute and think about it. So we'll get back to you. So after a bit of head scratching and trying to figure out what to do, I know I could set it up in the mill and do that, but that could be a long way around as well. I dug through our tools and I found this, I think it's a 3/8 counter bore, and turns out that the tip will fit right inside the guide, just about the right size. So if we go slow, we should be able to shorten that guide up with that, just in our drill. So we're not sizing it or anything. What we're just trying to do is take the end off and cut it down a little bit. So if we put it in our drill like that, turn it the right way, take our time, perhaps we can shorten the guide up a little bit. A little oil on the end of it. Just try it out here. And we're cutting a bunch off it there, as you can see by the grindings that are in there. We've removed quite a bit. So I think it'll just be a trial and error point till we can get our, it's not very much. We're almost down on the seat there now. Actually, I think that's going to work out just perfect. Let's give the other one a little grind there. worked perfect. So it seems like our little countersunk tool worked just perfect. Saved me a lot of time trying to set it up in the milling machine and do all that sort of stuff when really I'm not sizing anything or cutting anything. I'm just trying to shorten it up a little bit. And luckily, one of these countersink tools worked just perfect. Saved me a lot of time and effort. So we're going to go along and finish those up and cut them in there, lap them in, see where we're at, and then those old British heads should be ready to go. That's more like it. There, we got a nice seat all around. See the gray, and that's the lapping compound. I think that's going to be about as far as we're going to get them. We've got a pretty good seat happening on them. She looks great. All right, so we'll just go along, clean everything up now, wash the stuff out, label our valves for them so they know which ones go in them, and this old beezer should be pumping along again. Having those things, I'm happy with the seats where they're going to go. I would have probably used an oversized valve for those, but they are what they are, and they're quite usable. And like I say, it's not a high-performance machine. It's just something to get out and putt around on, and more of a unique item to have. So these will work just fine. If you enjoy this video and you like what we're talking about these days, subscribe, ring the bell, hit the like button, do all those things. Be very much appreciated.